the city ended the first half of the year, that's this year, 2023, with a better performance, as a matter of fact, than same period last year. If you do the year-on-year analysis, according to Bloomberg, the city lost about 11.21% to the dollar, but yet was still classified amongst Africa's worst performing currencies when it comes to the worst spot returns. And stay with me, I'm going to give you details of what the worst spot returns really means. But this is a wrap of the report by Bloomberg earlier today.
On the interbank market, the Bank of Ghana put the year-to-date loss of the cedi to the dollar to about 20%. Presently, the Ghanaian currency is going for 11 cedi 68 pesos to the dollar in the retail market. The Bank of Ghana is, however, quoting $1 to 10 cedis, 99 pesos. In the last 3 months, the cedi had performed well against the US dollar. Prior to the announcement of an International Monetary Fund program and after the pronouncement, the cedi has kept its resilience against the American greenback. It has gained about 9% on the retail market since the announcement of the IMF program. However, some market watchers argue that the local currency benefited from the suspension of payments of principal and interest on external debt in December 2022. Last week, reports indicated that demand pressures for the American greenback eased, favoring the cedi. This may continue this week, all things being equal.
Well, so a bit more detail. This is what Bloomberg published on its Bloomberg terminal. The good performance, the first 10 best performing currencies as per Bloomberg's monitoring. Today, take a look. And this is in the order of descendancy. So from the best performing currencies and the worst. In fact, we're going to get into the details of it, but as you see now today, this is how how much the dollar is selling for. 11 cedis, 85 pesos. And then also, if you're going, in fact, if you go on to the pound and the euro, which I'm sure I'm going to show it to you eventually as we go on, but this is it. This is how they classified the currencies and the specific countries and how they're doing with respect to their ranking. This is what Bloomberg published earlier. This is it. The best spot returns. Zambia, the Zambian kwacha, is actually number one comparatively between January and June 2023, and followed by the Gambian dalasi, and then the Ugandan shilling, number 3, the Guinean franc, and the Djibouti franc follows in that order. The Somalian shilling is actually being classified by Bloomberg as one of the currencies with the best spot returns. And a lot has been happening in Somalia, a war-torn country, but they've done quite a lot in terms of reforms. And also the Sierra Leone leon. The currency of Sierra Leone is leon, and they follow in that order as well. These are the countries with the worst spot returns. Ghana comes first because in terms of the comparative analysis with the other countries below, Ghana's depreciation of the cedi is not as worse as that of Congo. In fact, Nigeria has the worst situation. We saw the depreciation of the naira by almost over 39% within the first half of the year. So they put Ghana there as number one, but comparatively with Togo, we are quite well. So the Congolese franc comes next, the Kenyan shilling follows, Liberian dollar follows, the Egyptian pound, the Angolan kwanza, and the naira follows in that order. The countries with the worst spot of returns. Let's go on to the telephone now. Professor John Gachi is a dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School and then also an economist. Professor Gachi, thank you so much for joining us on Ghana Tonight. Now, we saw the cedi do quite well, a bit stable in the first quarter of the year. What may have contributed to this decline that we're seeing Bloomberg reporting?
Well, I think we have not changed the description of the performance of our currency. We largely indicate that our cedi is a depreciating currency because the factors that contribute to depreciation have not changed over time. But the turnaround of our currency being described as performing well is due to a number of factors. Number one, the echoes of an IMF engagement is one. Number two, the rationalization we have given to our importers, for which some of them do not have readily available currency to pay for import or to deal with their import is one. And generally, over some period of time, demand for import has actually slowed down. So these factors put together contribute to the health of the cedi. But when we are talking about the stability of the cedi, it's a relative term. Number one, with reference to which point in time, and with reference to whose assessment. Because if you are changing the currency over some time of, let's say, 6 cedis, and it's now at 11 cedis, 50 pesos, or 12 cedis, 50 pesos, that does not mean that in relative terms, the cost that the cedi produce for the importers and the effect on pricing has changed. So this stability we're talking about, it only means when we observe the cedi over a period of time, this period, the depreciation seems to be slow, and then intermittently we have some appreciation. That is what we are describing. But in terms of contributing to cost structure of importers and then the build-up of prices in the country, the effect has not changed. And that is why you see prices of items still very high, because of the weight of the effect on prices. And to me, that should be what we should be working at. So this situation where the currency stabilizes around some high level of exchange, just because at that point, it's like it's not volatile as it used to be, and we celebrate that. It's a misleading situation when it comes to pricing, when it comes to the effect on cost structure of importers.
You talk about how this is impacting on prices of goods and services, essentially because for the ordinary man, the decline or appreciation of the cedi will be measured by how that impacts on how much he or she is going to buy an item for. But we have not been servicing our external debts, both principal and interest. In the next half of the year, is there a probability that we will start? And if we do, how will that impact on the performance of the cedi?
Well, again, you need to observe the currency after the end of the year, because initially when we started running the economy, the assumption is that we will not pay any part of our debt, but that has been restructured, that we are going to pay some part of our debt to the bondholders in particular. I think 5% thereof, something like that. And next year we will pay. The next 2 years we will pay part. So the situation will change. But we will see the true effect of the resilience of the cedi going to the close of the year, close of this year. That is when we will see whether we are resilient. This that we are only talking about some momentary relief of the currency for the country. Those extreme volatility have been taken away. But when we resume proper servicing of our debt, that will have a toll on us, and that will be reflected in the depreciation.
Now, we're seeing the second round of the domestic debt exchange program as well playing out with the cocoa bills and the dollar-denominated local debts also some agreements with the banks we understand have been reached. Will that also impact on the city in the next half? I mean, the next half of the year as we have entered into it?
Well, I'm sure not all the parts of the second round of the domestic debt exchange have been concluded. I do know that those relating to dollar-denominated domestic debt will be restructured. That's our proposed bill. But I think the chunk of the pension funds, we have not heard any conclusion on that. So I still believe that there are factors that weigh against even this prospect for the economy. I think this prospect for the economy largely want to upload the balance sheet of the country to be somehow less weightier in terms of fiscal management. But for fiscal management to contribute to controlling depreciation, you would need to see other factors, whether we are going to open up to higher import bills of the country, whether that will come on board,
right,
to take away the effect of the gain. That's what I say. We got to wait to the end of the year so that we see how the adjustment process will conclude.
And quick one, are there any specific interventions you expect in the upcoming mid-year budget review that could possibly impact on the performance of the city positively as we do the outlook?
I believe for now, the activities that should be done before the review are themselves the intervention that ought to take place. So, for example, the second round debt exchange program that we have seen will be one of the effects already. So I do not expect any other clear intervention from anywhere for the city. But these interventions are supposed to cool down the contributing factors to fiscal runoff and then to depreciation of the currency.
Appreciate your time. Professor John Gachi, thank you so much. He's the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School and also a financial analyst there, Professor John Gachi.